Hello there, Mad Mike here, and welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to be talking about some interesting information that's been coming out about Disney. And this is something that a lot of people kind of speculated when the Disney Fox merger was finalized, but a lot of people didn't necessarily think it was going to happen because it was kind of a Disney properties type of thing, traditional Disney properties, classic Disney films as opposed to, anything else. But it appears that they are doing this, and that is they are putting some very well-known Fox properties into the quote-unquote Disney Vault. Now, what the Disney Vault is, for those people who don't know what it is, it's basically Disney. It's essentially it's basically a marketing tactic by Disney, which is they put various films from their back catalog, very prominent films, like their old animated features, stuff like Little Mermaid or Lion King, things like that. They put them in what's called the Disney Vault, which means you really can't get your hands on them at all until they are released from the vault for limited periods of time. They get released on VHS and DVD and that sort of thing. And basically, the whole idea is it's kind of a marketing thing where it's kind of like food franchises do this a lot, like the McRib with McDonald's, where it's available for limited time only. People buy them up very, very quickly, and it keeps the extended media life of the films alive. But at the same time, it makes it very difficult to get those films for other things. Now, this also affects people that try to screen the films, including theaters for classic movie nights or movie marathons, things like that. And apparently, Disney is extending this to the Fox properties that they now own as well, including there's speculation that this includes also Alien, The Omen. Again, a lot of horror movies that a lot of theaters like to screen this time of year because of the lack of modern horror films. Or at least releasing good horror films. A lot of them will do film marathons of like, oh, greatest horror films, or all the films from X director or this or that, and it appears that Disney is putting these in their quote-unquote vault, and they are blocking various film theater owners and film enthusiasts from showing these films in public for fear of Disney cracking down on them for using their intellectual property without their permission. Now, this is an extremely foolish move by Disney. I think it's already created a lot of backlash. And here's the thing around that is different when we're talking about the classic Disney films as opposed to the Fox films. Now, the Fox films have always been available, for the most part, from extended media. They've never really been taken off the market. I don't think theater owners have ever really been blocked from showing them, at least as far as I know. And now this is kind of a sudden thing, especially around Halloween, where Fox owns a lot of really prominent horror films, again, like The Omen, like Alien, things like that. So this is very interesting just from the perspective of, these theater owners are just trying to show these movies and make it a fun night for people to come and watch a movie in a theater, and they're saying no, you can't because we don't want you to. It's like again, it's ridiculous, and I'm sure that they have to pay to show the film and stuff like that. It's not anything that's free, but at the same time, it's ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous to block these films at this point. Now, like I said before, it's different for the classic Disney films because they've kind of always been like that. They had their theatrical runs and then they go immediately in the vault. That's just kind of what Disney has done for a very long time with their Disney related properties. But again, I think that people have gotten used to having these Fox properties around. I think that a lot of cinemas and stuff like that like to show these films, again, especially around the various holidays that they're related to, most notably Halloween, because again, horror movie marathons in smaller theaters is very common around Halloween. And ultimately all it does is it hurts the theaters and it makes Disney look very bad in hindsight. But it's the idea that I don't really think it would even work with the Fox films either, because there's enough DVDs and materials and stuff like that that are out on the shelves from before the merger that are not that people can get their hands on. It's not, again, it's not like Disney where they're only released every so often for a 25 for for like an every 10-year anniversary or something like that. It's very different in the sense of where how readily available these materials or these films are, and I think it robs people of a bit of a night of fun at the movies, which really is kind of something that's really been argued again with the between the Scorsese versus Marvel movies thing. The idea that, oh, they're turning the theaters into theme parks. Um, and people bashing Marvel films and stuff like that. And look, if Disney is going to essentially declare war on small time theaters by doing this, you're not telling people that you want to help cinemas. You're not telling people that you want to help movie theaters. You're telling people that you want to destroy something that you don't want the little guy to have a chance, because a lot of these theaters make a good amount of money on these kind of individual movie marathon type of things, and again, it's a fun thing for the community. You can remember back to I don't know how many people listen to this who are in small towns or stuff like that, but everybody has that story about, oh, the local movie theater. Everybody kind of has that story about the theater that was around that they went to go see when they were a kid. The theater that I saw my first movie in no longer exists. I think it's a liquor store now, actually, which is ironic. But it was a nice little theater. I mean, it didn't really always have a lot of people in it, but it was a nice little theater. It was right down the street. Showed a lot of it showed relatively new films most of the time, and I think it only had like 4 or 5 screens, but it was a fun little place to go on a Friday or Saturday night. And eventually it did go out of business, but there's still other small theaters around the same area that do the same thing, and they basically keep themselves afloat by they'll show a big budget movie here or there, but a lot of the times it's replay nights and stuff like that, and serving decent food or beer or something like that for adults and things like that. You can still have fun at the theater, and Disney is saying, no, we don't want you to have fun at the theater because we want to make money off of you by only releasing these films at certain times and barring you from viewing them in a public forum. And I think that's disgusting. I think that's extremely disgusting of them, and I think that they should be trying to bolster the theaters. They should be trying to get people into the theaters for more than just the 2 or 3 Marvel movies they release every year, or a Star Wars film, or this or that. Obviously you should try to get people in theaters for that because it's their film, but you know, make people feel like they're welcome. In this thing, it feels like whenever you go see a Marvel film, you're getting held up at the theater. That's what it seems like, at least from their attitude. And it's very cold. It's unwelcoming, I guess is the right term to use in terms of how it would make me feel. It makes it seem like it's unwelcoming. Um, like, you don't want me to view your content. You don't want me to see these movies for whatever reason, even though you've put them out and you've made them and you want to make money off of them. And it's just it's a scummy thing to do, and it's a scummy thing to kind of push on these small theaters. And again, the small theater who initially reported that they were denied the ability to view this was I think it was a small arts theater who was doing a horror movie marathon in Ohio. But more and more cases have started popping up very recently where Disney has started cracking down on this. And again, this is very unfortunate, but I want to know your thoughts. Do you think that they're right to kind of cycle these movies into their vault system, or do you think that you should just leave it the way it is, because they're properties that Disney didn't make, they're properties that Disney acquired after the fact, and they should be allowed to be in the free market like they have been for many, many years? And again, I want to know your opinion, so leave those thoughts in the comments. Hit the bell for notifications, hit the like button, subscribe, and remember, I live my life free of compromise. Do you?